Hello, friends. Today I am talking about the last of the 8 meannesses of the heart that Sri Yukteswar delineated in his book, The Holy Science. And this one is called A Too Narrow Sense of Respectability. The others are hatred, fear, shame, grief, condemnation, pride of pedigree, race prejudice, and a too narrow sense of respectability. So, what that means for us, especially those of us who have been raised in a very orthodox religion, we have, in a deep way, interiorize some of these conditions. So, for example, some religions say no dancing, no alcohol, no playing cards, those sorts of things. And so if you're even playing Monopoly with your child, there's still this nagging feeling of, oh my gosh, I'm playing cards. This is just awful. So there's all sorts of conditioning that we experience that gives us sometimes a false sense of what is right and what is wrong, a very narrow sense of what is respectable and what is not. So this means that we need to discriminate in a spiritual sense. We need to be able to tell what is true, what is false, what is right behavior, and what is wrong behavior. And this is the power of karma. We do have to understand karma. We have to know that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction, which means that if we give hatred and intolerance to other people, that's what we get in return. And as the great Indian woman saint Anandamoy Ma said, it is a form of intolerance to be intolerant of other people's intolerance. So it gets very complicated. But what we have to do is free ourselves, clean our hearts of any form of intolerance. We have to become more and more accepting of other people. Not to the point where they let them shoot us up or shoot other people. We have to discriminate and use our intelligence to know what is right and what is wrong. And karma will show us if we are angry and shouting at people. Lo and behold, other people will be angry and shout at us. It's the way the law works. And that is the essence of discrimination, in using the term in this way, not discriminating against people because of their nationality, ethnicity, color, speech, disability, anything like that. We have to discriminate and know what is right action. And we learn that through the law of karma. That's why karma is a good thing. It feels as though, the heavy weight of karma oppressing me. And yes, we all have karma to work out. That's why we're here. We all have karma to learn from. But we need to give the benefit of the doubt to people as much as we can. We cannot judge them. the more that we judge others, the more we will be judged. And so that sense of acceptance must be there. And the only way that we can truly discriminate and know that our actions are correct is if we are in tune with God. There's that wonderful story that I've often told, but I want to share it with you again. There was a man riding on a bus, and he was a martial arts guy. He had earned a lot of accolades in his study, but he was untried in the sense that he had never broken up a fight out in the world. He had never had that test of stepping in for righteousness. And he had that desire. He wanted to be the hero. So as he was riding along on this quiet bus, I think it was somewhere in the Orient, in Japan perhaps, everyone was quiet and minding their own business when suddenly at one of the bus stops, a drunken and very disheveled, large man got onto the bus, who was very inebriated and bumping into people and loud and very unruly. And people were afraid of him because of his energy. And so this young man started to steel himself, like, this might be my chance where I can step in and do the right thing and help these poor people. And the drunken man was making a scene. He was, as I said, very loud and yelling and angry and upset. And the young man was just pulling himself together to step in and just deck this guy and be the hero of the day, when he heard an old man chuckling. And this ancient little person in his late 80s was laughing and pointing to the seat next to him and gesturing for this man, this drunken, disorderly man, to come and sit next to him. And everyone on the bus was just in shocked silence. But the drunken man sort of made a mess of walking over there, bumping people left and right, but he did manage to sit down next to the old man. And the old man very kindly just started talking to him. And he was telling the drunken man about his beautiful cherry tree in his backyard and how it hadn't produced very much last year, but this year it had a beautiful crop. And he just was soothingly and compassionately and lovingly talking to this drunken man. And he eventually said something about how he and his wife watched their cherry tree every year, and they would sit there and enjoy the beautiful pink blossoms and wait for the fruit to come. And the drunken man, who had been quiet, listening to the old man's voice, suddenly broke down and said, "I just lost my wife. I don't know what to do. I'm lost." So the young man who was about to step in realized that there are other, better ways to be the hero. And so let us be more accepting and work on our compassion instead of our judgment. Let us eradicate our empirical looking down our nose at others and their behaviors and their manners of speech and their stupidity and their unkindness, their intolerance. Let's look at it all with compassion and try to shine God's light and love into the lives of everyone we meet.